Hi, mathematicians. We're going to be comparing decimals in this video. You might be thinking, wait, Mr. Brandt, those aren't decimal numbers. And you're right. I wrote some whole numbers here to show you that comparing decimals is just as easy as comparing whole numbers. You're going to go through the same processes. So in comparing whole numbers, I have 347 there and on the left and 374 on the right. Comparing whole numbers, you want to make the numbers 347, and then this is 374. When comparing whole numbers, you compare them just like you're comparing words and putting them in alphabetical order. You want to see which number is greater. Well, you have to go place value by place value. So first I'm going to look in the largest place value, which is the hundreds place. They both have a 3 in the hundreds place. So then I go to the next place value and I look in the tens place. Now 374, the 7 is larger than the 4, so the entire number is larger. It doesn't matter how many ones there are, or tenths or hundredths. It doesn't matter because the tens is the largest place value where there's a difference. Since there are more tens here than there, 374 is the larger amount. So we do the same thing with decimal numbers. Now I've written 3 and 47 hundredths. So I'm going to make that on my chart here, and then 3 and 74 hundredths. Once you align their place values and make sure that you have the ones places aligned and the tenths and the hundredths places aligned, I can look in the ones place. They both have the same digit, so it's a tie there. Go to the next place value, and I've got a 7 here, which is larger than 4. So this whole number is larger. It doesn't matter about the smaller place values, because even if we had 9s and all these smaller place values here, and there were 1s in all these place values here, tenths are larger than any of those place values behind it. So as soon as you get to a place value where you've got a difference in size of the number, that is your larger number. That's really all there is to it. So I like to say that there's really no excuse for not comparing a decimal number correctly as long as you take this stacking method. So let's do a few more, and then I'm going to move on to another video, because comparing decimals, you can do it pretty quickly by just stacking these numbers. So here is a common trick that math books will try to play on students: 3 and 5 tenths and 3 and 47 hundredths. And at first thought, you think, well, 47 is greater than 5, right? So that one must be larger. Haha, not so fast, student. If I make these numbers on my place value charts, 3 and 5 tenths here, and 3 and 47 hundredths here, I go in the ones place, those are the same digit, and then I go to the tens place. Wait, 5 tenths. 5 tenths is greater than 4 tenths, so this number is larger. It doesn't matter what comes behind that tenths place. If I cover up the hundredths place here, I can see 3 and 5 tenths is surely greater than 3 and 4 tenths. So even though it's 3 and 47 hundredths, 3 and 5 tenths is greater. I mean, student, you already know that, right? Because you know that if I put a 0 here in the hundredths place, it doesn't change the value of that number. So 3 and 50 hundredths is greater than 3 and 47 hundredths, right? All right, let's do a couple more. Our next two numbers are 2 and 4 hundredths and 2 and 40 hundredths. So again, looking in the ones place, I have a tie. If I go back to the tenths place, well, 4 is greater than 0, so 2 and 4 tenths, or 2 and 40 hundredths, is going to be the greater amount. Hey, where's my blue mark? I like the blue. Oh, that looks so nice. Okay, 2 and 40 hundredths is going to be greater than 2 and 4 hundredths. But hey, you might be thinking, Mr. Brandt, it's not like I carry around this place value chart in my pocket wherever I go. No, student, I wouldn't expect that you do. So instead of using a place value chart, you can easily do this on your own just by stacking the numbers. Just line up the decimal places. I might even start with the decimal places and then write the numbers. So I've got 2 in the ones place to the left of the decimal, and then the 0, 4 here, and then the 2 to the left of the decimal point, and then a 4, 0. There we go. You just stack it. You don't need the place value chart. Look at the ones place. There, a tie there. The tenths place. 4 is larger than 0, so that entire number is larger. And that's what we're going to do for the last two. Just going to stack them and compare them that way. We've got 42 and 875 thousandths and 423 and 95 hundredths. So first, I'm just going to make the decimal points, stack them. That will make sure that I align the place values. And then you got to write neatly. So 4, 2, okay, and then an 8, 7, 5. And now here I have a 3 in the ones place. That's going to go below that 2 in the ones place. A 2 is in the tens place. Go below that 4 in the tens place. And then a 4 is in the hundreds place. And then a 9 in the tenths place and a 5 in the thousandths. Okay. See, when I stack this, starting with that decimal to make sure I align my digits, I can see that if I looked in the hundreds place, this number doesn't even have anything in the hundreds place. 4 is much greater than 0, of course. So 4 here, that means that entire number is larger because it has a digit in the hundreds place, and this one does not have a digit in the hundreds place. Last one. I know you can do this. If you're not sure about which decimal is larger, just stack them, and you'll be able to compare them easily. So I line up the decimal points. I have 0 and 647 thousandths compared to 0 and 65 hundredths. Okay, start in the ones place, the zeros. That's even. Go back to the tens place. They've got a tie there. They both got a 6. To the tenths place, 5 is greater than 4. So this entire number is larger. 65 hundredths is greater than 647 thousandths. And again, I can prove it by putting a 0 there in the thousandths place. 650 thousandths is just 3 thousandths more than 647 thousandths. All right, to compare decimals, stack them, align those place values, and then just go from largest to smallest place value to see which place one digit or one of the numbers has a larger digit.